Your place is disturbing us now. You are doing proc, proc, proc. Now, but are you with me? Can I continue? Now, in the employee table, we have employee ID as the primary key. What does this primary key really do? If you look at this table, you will notice that the numbers don't repeat themselves. So it is 100, 101, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. So in the primary key, the numbers will never repeat themselves. So that is what identify each person inside that table. So Stephen King, his first name is Stephen, the second name is King. So Stephen King has a unique ID 100. Nina has another ID 101. So you cannot have two employees with the same ID. What differentiates them is their ID. That is the primary key. But if you look at that employee table where you are having department ID, you can see that you have more than 190. You have 90, 90, 90, 60, 60, 60, 60, right? They are repeating. Now, if you look at this table, what this department ID is simply telling us is that Stephen, Nina, Lex are in the same department. Now I'm beginning to pull out information from the data I'm looking at. So if I go to the department table and I click on it like this, I will simply look for 90. The department name for 90 is executive. Can you see it? That means Stephen, Nina, and Lex are in the department executive. Now, 60 is what? When I click on it, I will see 60, which is what? IT. So when I go back to employee table, it means that I have three people, one, two, three, four, five. Five people, which is from Bruce, David, Valley, Diana, and yes, these four people are in the same department, which is what? The IT department. Then, if you look at this column, the job ID column is telling you that their job ID is, look at those people that are in IT department, IT programmer, IT programmer, IT programmer, IT programmer, another IT programmer. Why these three people are executive? So this is what? The president, then the vice president one and vice president two. So it means you have two vice presidents in this company. And you can see their salary. The salary of the two vice presidents are the same. Based on this data that I have right in front of me, I have been able to tell you who are these employees. I can identify who is the president and who are the vice presidents, who are those working in IT departments, what their salaries are. I can see it by just looking at this data. So every company or every human being will need data to function, to be able to take decision, to make decision. So our goal now is to learn the language that will enable us communicate with this database and pull out data the way we want it. I can decide to give an instruction to say, okay, I want to see only the president, only the president, and the president will come when I speak. I can decide that, okay, I want to see only the two vice presidents. I need to be able to speak that language. Then I can decide to say, okay, I want to hold meeting with only the employees that are in IT departments. So how do I speak this language for them to come out? So all of them are stored in the database. Now, using the application, which is the SQL developer, to communicate with the database, how will I be able to interact with it? By speaking the language to it, and it will be able to go to the database and give me the information as I have requested. That language is what we are about to learn. That is the SQL. Now, right now we are talking about there is this concept of AI, artificial intelligence. Okay. Now, before we got to that point where we are now dealing with the AI, you are going to interact with the AI. and the AI is going to be like a human being. So you are just speaking, talking with the AI. This is exactly what we are doing now. You as a human being, you are holding the mouse to communicate with the computer. The computer screen is like your world. It's like these are our physical world. That is how this computer screen is. All these things that you're looking at, they are not living on the screen. They have where they are, but being projected on the screen for you to see. So I am trying to access the database, which is a completely different world entirely on its own. The data are there in a different world. So there are 3 layers to it. But actually, much more than that. Each of these layers have their own layers. But for simplicity's sake, I have told you it is like the concept of the body, the soul, and the spirit. But of course, we know that it's beyond just these 3. You can expand each of them. You can expand the body. You can expand the soul. You can expand the spirit form to understand the whole concept of where you are and as I'm talking. You don't know where I am physically located, but you can hear me through the technology. So this technology is the middleman between you and me. That I can speak and you can hear at the other side, and you can speak, I can hear at this other side. And you can also see my video, my image, and I can see yours. Because something is in between us that is bridging that gap and bringing us together. That is exactly the same concept of this database. So we talk about the application, the database management system, and then the database itself. These data are stored in the database. Are you with me? Now, using the application, we pull the data and it is now presented to us like this as I'm looking at it. But who gave me this presentation? It is the database management system. When I write my script, the script goes to the database management system. He's the one that will look at it and say, okay, this is what you want. Let me check if this information, this data are available, and then put them together and present it to you the way you want it. If the data are not there, the database management system will simply tell you that it doesn't exist. Let me show you. I think what he was trying to do was, he said he wrote this query and he got an error. See, he got this error. An error was encountered performing the request operation. What that table of view does not exist. Can you see that? You know, the Bible talks about, the Bible says, if you ask according to his will, you will receive whatever you ask, right? According to his will simply means that you are asking for something that is existing. If you are asking for what is not existing in the database, then that is not according to his will. You won't get it. You will get a feedback that tells you it is an error. That is exactly what is happening here. An error was encountered because I am trying to search for something from a table that is not existing. You can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 tables in the HR schema. But I'm trying to query for this table that is not existing. So it will give me an error. But if I put like this, you see, it continues. It's actually showing me the table that is available. If I say enter, and then I, I sorry, come again. Yes, that is okay. Okay, let's see. Look at it. Department. Now you are getting it. You can see it's showing me department. So when I click that, look at what it's showing me. It's showing me the same information that is in that department table. Look at, we had it here. You know, when I click here, I'm seeing this data. Now, I am this data that came out. How the DBMS brought out this information was that there was a language that was spoken for this to come out, and that language is actually what I wrote here now directly. Now you get it clear now. Good. So that is it. Which one? No. The star. Now I'm going to tell you. That star is saying, show me all the columns. So I can decide that, okay, I don't want to see all the columns. I want to see just two columns, which is department ID and department name. That is just what I want to see. Now I will have to specifically type it. I will not put star again. I will say department. See, it's showing me. So I can just say ID, right? And I will put comma, and I will say department name again, right? Now, when I do this and I click, you see, it's showing me that. So now the star is telling me all the columns that are in that table. That is what the star means. But I can now decide to bring out whatever it is that I want. So that is what you call view. So this is a view that you are looking at. So that's why we say that what you are looking at could probably be different from what I am seeing. These are two different views. But if that information is in the database, you can pull out as many views as possible. So this is the concept of the language we are about to learn. You are beginning to get the picture right now, right? Okay, so it means that there is a database, and this database contains data. Now, information is what you pull out from that database. So I can decide that, okay, I want to see everything that is in that database, and it will bring it out for me. And I can decide again that, okay, I don't want to see everything. I want to see just this view. This is the view I want to look at. And I can write the language to give me just that view. From that same database, you can decide that you want to see another view, and you will write your script to give you that view. So we can bring out as many views as possible from one same database table object. Do you understand now? Are you are getting me right? Okay, so that is basically it. That is what we are trying to achieve. The language that will enable us manipulate the outcome that we want to get whatever it is that we need. That is what we want to learn. That is exactly what the English language is. That is exactly what your dialect is. That you could speak your language and pull out anything that you want from the database that your language interacts with. So the English language is a technology that can enable us pull out information from a particular database. Your dialect is also another type of technology similar to the English language that can enable you pull out data from your database. Are you with me? So eventually we are going to write a script that will pull out data from both the HR schema and the Scott schema. Now we are now going into the complex realm. That is the whole idea of this language, that you are learning a language, and based on that language, once you speak that language, something happens. I'm able to pass this information to you now because I understand the language and you understand that language. So based on this language now, I am accessing the database, pulling out the information from that database, and then pushing it to you and creating a view for you to actually see clearly what message I'm trying to pass across. That is the concept. That is basically it. That's what I'm trying to do. So I'm sure you are getting the picture, right? Good. I'm doing two things here. If you look at this top, I have the HR schema, right? And then on this side, I have the department. Now, in this one, I am writing the program. While in this, excuse me, in this part, I'm actually showing you, and how did I get to this part? I use this, meaning I expand the table, right? And then I click on any of them, either employee or the department. If I click on employee, this is what is showing me, right? Now, what is happening here is that I'm using this pattern to get the data from the database. But there is a script behind it that is enabling this information to come out. So I just click on this button. When I click on this button, it brought out this. Now, the script behind it that brought out this is what I wrote, is what I'm writing here. You understand me? So I said star from employees. So you see, it's the same thing. So the same data that I have here is what I'm having here. So I'm just showing you that behind this button, employees that I click to give you this script is behind it. Are you with me? So that is the whole concept of the applications that you use on your phone or whatever. You look at your phone screen, there is an app there. You touch that app, it opens. So there is a program behind that once you click on that app, it's saying, once I touch it, this is the action that you should take. So this program is behind this tab. That the moment I click on this tab, it brought out this. So I am now writing the program myself to show you that this was the program that was buried behind this employee to bring out this information. You get it now?